Hi guys, welcome back to my small cubicle of the internet. Sit down, have a seat, there's snacks. And today I want to do another video from CNBC's Millennial Money. I want to share another small business that has been killing it, how they got started, how they are navigating through these times, and yeah, just get some more inspiration. As you guys know, I am a small business owner. I own a handbag brand. My link is in the description. And so I have been going through some struggles. I've also worked as a full-time nurse, so it's been hard for me to just kind of transition. As some of you know, I also am a full-time nurse, so the transition of being, as some of you know, I also work as a full-time nurse. So the transition of me working as a full-time nurse and also a business owner has been a journey for me. And I don't quite feel like I've made it just yet, but I want to draw some inspiration from some businesses who has, especially small businesses. So today I thought I would highlight another video and see what we can learn. All right, let's go.
Every single day, multiple times a day, running this business. It's like, it's really great. Everything's working out for me. Everything's great. Awesome. And then it's like, oh my God, what am I doing? Nothing's working out. I'm a mess. My name is Anna Marie Ortiz. I'm 30 years old and I run a cleaning business in Portland, Oregon.
Same.
Cool Ant Cleaners is a professional cleaning service. We mainly cater to young professionals and we also clean some commercial spaces as well.
Very nice. See, it always got to start as a side hustle, man. You never know where it'll take you.
We do residential and commercial, but in that we also do move out cleans, move in cleans. We do midterm rental turnovers, short-term rental turnovers, and then we also do real estate listing cleans. But before that, I had only ever made like $2,000 a month. So I'm pretty used to like living paycheck to paycheck. I keep things pretty frugal. I also have the privilege of having a business account. So I might just be paying myself that $500 every week, but there are expenses that I do run through the business that I'm able to do. I don't feel like I'm struggling, but I feel like I'm taken care of and I have the things that I need. And it's like the sacrifice for the overall bigger vision. I've been poor my whole life. I've lived paycheck to paycheck my whole life. Growing up, money was definitely tight. I feel like I learned the value of a dollar just through all of the hard work that I was taught.
Look, running a small business is no small feat, especially when you have to think about all the backhand expenses that start to really come in place. It can be so overwhelming, but I'm proud of her for having the courage to start a business, registering your LLC, jumping on faith, starting a website for people to, purchase your services. It all takes time to kind of really build and grow. It's definitely a journey, and it looks like she's enjoying it and having fun with it. So it's good to see.
Being raised on the farm and watching my parents struggle raising all of us.
Definitely can understand that.
I had always wanted to move out of state, but I was always really scared and knew that it was super expensive to do that. Just kind of picked that out of nowhere because I wanted to be somewhere that was far away from home, and Portland's just kind of where I landed. Me moving out to the West Coast for the first time, this is the most I've ever spent on rent, on gas, on eggs, milk, anything. It's insane out here. Most of the time I have to just put blinders up to the cost of everything and just make it happen through sales. But when I moved out here, I know this sounds bad, but it wasn't to make friends. It wasn't to be the cool person. Like, I came out here with a vision, which was to build a seven-figure business. I struggled with depression my entire life. I feel like when I moved to Portland, Oregon, I identified things that I wasn't happy about with my life. One of those biggest insecurities was not making a lot of money. So
amazing. Similar to me, when I moved from New Jersey to California, I knew that I was gonna work as a travel nurse, but once I was working and I realized I had all this time to myself because I wasn't really distracted by friends and family, it just became natural to start a business. So I definitely understand that. And sometimes you gotta leave the comfort of your home to feel that hunger to hustle.
So that kind of went into this whole 10-year plan of, making more money and building the 7-figure business. My reasoning really comes down to just wanting to be able to provide for myself and my family. It was until I left home and moved in with a house full of girls that I realized not everyone grew up with a stay-at-home mom that cleaned the house and did chores themselves growing up. I did a lot of research and development on how to start a cleaning company. Are they profitable? What do you need to start a cleaning company? How much does it cost? And that was one of the things that drew me to the cleaning business. One was the fact that the costs are so low. It's just kind of insane, because if you're just starting out with you doing the work, which was another draw to start the business, was that labor's always your most expensive thing. And if I can physically do the work well, then labor's not a big barrier to entry, if that makes sense. So I'm like, what do I need to be the most professional solo cleaner that I can be? And to me, that was like a logo, a website. I purchased the domain name, the Google Workspace, the vacuum, cleaning supplies, microfiber cloths. I got little magnets for my car, all the t-shirts, insurance, that's important, auto insurance, general liability insurance. I set up the LLC. I hired a graphic designer and just told him I wanted it to be this kind of vintage mascot looking logo. There's also this country song. It might be called Suds in the Bucket, and I thought this was very representative of Suds in the Bucket. The first few months of the business, I was still working for the tech startup, and I was getting the proof of concept for the cleaning company off the ground. So I was doing this after hours and on weekends. I was doing
great branding. She definitely understood the concept of branding. And I guess that comes pretty easily when you're on social media to build a brand. That's the more fun part, I would say, definitely. But she also made sure she had all her ducks in a row with having the LLC, having the insurance, making sure you're fully covered and protected before you venture out and clean in other people's homes. So you definitely want to think ahead and make sure you have all those things in place.
All of the cleans myself. It is physically really difficult work. In the first month of starting the cleaning company, I was able to replace my tech job salary. That was a huge telling point. I think just as quickly as we hit 10,000 to 13,000 months, that was kind of insane too. And knowing that I wasn't doing any kind of paid advertising or discounts or offers or anything like that, the proof of concept for a 6-figure business was proven pretty early on.
And I definitely know cleaning was also, again, in 2020, especially she started in 2023, but around 2020, people had time to clean. People were addicted to these videos of people coming into hoarder homes and doing these drastic cleaning services. So I'm sure she was able to hop on that trend, which was very easy to, again, enter into. And she was able to make the content herself, which helps a lot with getting the marketing out there without spending on advertising. Good job.
One time I took on a move out clean. It was just me, and it took me 13 hours to do a massive move out real estate listing clean. It was in way over my head. I underbid the job, and the riches are in the niches. And so I quickly learned that just because you're in a higher income neighborhood or a bigger house, it doesn't mean that you're making more money. It actually means that you're making less money. Because I started out as a solo cleaner, I naturally was able to take on these smaller luxury condo buildings because that was more feasible for me in terms of time. But I also learned later on that the smaller spaces that we're cleaning are more profitable. There's a million different ways to spin a cleaning company because you can do it solo or you can do it with a business with employees. We do everything pretty official through a job management software that's pretty spendy. We have an accountant, gas, supplies, insurance, and payroll for our employees. Cleaning supplies are relatively low cost, but we do have a relatively inexpensive storage unit that we rent out to store all of our supplies in. And then we have laundry service and things like that that we pay for. Since having having employees, I do try to have bigger places or dirtier places with 2 people if we're able to do that. But ultimately, I just schedule cleans at our current capacity. All clients kind of undergo an initial clean that typically just gets the initial layers of all the dirt and grime that's been accumulating since they've had a cleaning service last, or some people have never had a cleaning service ever. They pay 20% deposit, and then we get their initial clean on the books. If they're happy with the service and want to move forward with a recurring service, then we book them for monthly, bi-weekly, or weekly cleaning services. Move out cleans are probably one of the hardest cleans. Very hard labor in terms of the effort it takes to get them looking brand new again, but that's just essentially gutting the place and making it look brand new. I really do enjoy seeing the result and seeing the client's reaction.
I have to say, her prices are very affordable. Wow.
I look at the internet like a time capsule to just kind of have all these memories of where I was, where I am, and where I'm heading. And I also think it's really important and empowering to other people to see people who don't come from money or like don't come from anything and just have a big dream making things happen. Long-term vision of where I see the company going is having one in other major cities and allowing other people what I wish I had earlier, which was an opportunity to move to another like cool state and have a job lined up. And I kind of want to make that same concept here. I want to be the person in my family that creates generational wealth and leaves behind a legacy that my nieces and nephews can be proud of or have access to if like they also share the joy of entrepreneurship. And I think there needs to be someone in the family doing that to show other people that the path is possible. Not that anyone's asked me to do that or cares, but here I am.
It is such an exciting feeling having a 6-figure business. You know, when my business hit 6-figure, it was like just an amazing feeling. I hope this channel does follow-ups to see how businesses have grown since then. But yeah, this was really exciting. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, got some inspiration from it. I know I did, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.